Tomorrow is the most famous statue in the world. Many people have seen the shape of the mother, but they don't know the name of this statue. In fact, this statue is called Maya. It is widely believed that when you see this statue, you all have seen it before, and this statue is named Maya. This story happened because of a Dutch man who was a very famous explorer named Jacob Roggeveen. That year, he was on an expedition exploring continents, and while at sea in Chile, it was truly by chance that he arrived at a remote, isolated island. When he set foot on that deserted island, it made him feel amazed. What happened on this island? Why are there so many large stones and statues arranged together, all facing away from the sea on this island? Does anyone actually live on this island? Because of the extremely strong isolation and its distance from two countries, this island is as far as 3,540 kilometers away, and that's 3,540 kilometers over open water. We are truly embarking on a journey across the sea. It's not as easy as traveling by land or by air. That's why he was different from others, and his team also had the same curiosity. So he traveled to the island, getting off the boat to explore what was actually on the island. As he journeyed deeper into the island, into the dense forest, he saw human statues. Statues everywhere, lining the path as he went. This made him even more curious. When he reached the deep forest, he encountered a group, an alliance called the Rapa group. The Rapa group was likely the one who built this statue, or perhaps even earlier groups before them. So what does that mean? This is one of his questions as well. And he also spent a week on that island. This is also related to this story because he was able to discover this continent, but he explained clearly how this statue was built, for whom it was built, and how this statue came to be placed standing with its back to the sea like that. He wrote or described this matter in detail, but he left this question unanswered up to the present day, even for scientists and many archaeologists who went to that island, which people call Easter Island, and both archaeologists and scientists are truly puzzled as to how people in the past could have possibly managed to do this. To build such massive and incredibly heavy stone structures. Speaking specifically about these stone statues, or moai, all of the ones found on this island, most of the statues are between 2.4 meters and 10 meters tall. The tallest statue reaches up to 21 meters, which is extremely tall, and it weighs up to 270 tons. That's no joke. It took these stones. They took whole stones, cut them to fit together, but these are massive, solid blocks, and they're so heavy that people today still wonder how they managed to do it. Many scientists and archaeologists have gone to study the site, and they've discovered that these are actually sculptures. This was built between the 14th and 15th centuries, and all these carvings were made from volcanic rock. In earlier times, possibly even before the 14th or 15th centuries, before that, on this island, there was a huge volcano and it erupted. The people who lived on this mountain were likely from the Arab Moai tribe, and they were the ones who built and carved this statue. Speaking of the construction, archaeologists have concluded that it was built starting from the head and then down to the body. This statue was built as a way to pay respect to their ancestors, the Rapa Nui tribe specifically. And there's another question, one that remains unexplained to this day. How did the ancient people, the previous generations, manage to lift such massive stones, each weighing between 4 to 16 tons? They lifted them up and set them standing upright. What about at the seaside? How did they do it? As you can see in the picture, they're standing in a row. If those are volcanic rocks that erupted right there, that's not the case. The volcano erupted inside and deep underground, but in the deep forest. So how did they manage to bring them here and arrange them like this? Eventually, scientists as well as archaeologists and tourists went there and asked the local villagers about it. The villagers on that remote island have passed down stories from generation to generation, like ancient legends about these statues. They say that one statue stands facing the sea, another stands with its back to the sea, and some statues face away while others look toward the ocean. This is to protect our island's territory, and these statues were not brought there by anyone, nor were they made by ordinary people or tribes. The statues are said to have come there on their own. According to the villagers' beliefs, they think that these statues contain the spirits of their ancestors. The spirits of their ancestors are said to have walked out from the deep forest and entered into these stones. They came from the depths of the forest to stand here, both to withstand natural disasters and to stop the invasions of enemies from previous generations who tried to conquer the island. That's why some statues stand with their backs turned, some face the sea, and some stand with their backs to the ocean. Standing and facing the sea, all of them are depicted as men, meant to protect the territory of this island. This is a matter of local belief among the villagers. However, archaeologists and scientists still cannot accept this explanation. But for the believers, when faith is strong, they are convinced that this statue truly appeared on its own, not made by human hands. Not everyone can climb onto the statue, and those who can do so believe it is because of the statue's spiritual power. If we think about its weight, it's hard to imagine otherwise. Some estimate that there were about 200 people, but others believe that in previous generations, there may have been around 2,000 or even 3,000 people living on this island. And if we consider not just the current population, but also the elders or those of higher status, some European researchers have even said there could have been 2,000 to 3,000 people who could have lifted the stones or used some method to bring them here, placing them right at the edge of the beach on the island. Up until 1986, there were experiments conducted by a person named Pavel and his team who came to test on the statues here on the island. Specifically, they experimented with two statues, one weighing 4 tons and the other weighing 9 tons. They used the strength of many people to move them. And he tied ropes around the heads of the statues in order to rock them back and forth from both sides, with people on each side like moving stones, and they walked them, but it also took quite a bit of time. In one day, they could only move about 100 meters. Scientists, as well as archaeologists, still aren't certain whether all the statues were moved this way. It's unclear if people in the past really used this method or not. And many scientists and archaeologists remain unsatisfied with the experiments conducted by those two experimenters. 1 year later, in 1987, there was another experimenter named Charles Love, who also worked on constructing the statues. A statue that was 4 meters tall and weighed 9 tons, to experiment and see if people in the past could have used his method. His method involved using 2 ropes. One was tied to the back of the statue and pulled from behind by 2 groups, while another rope was tied around the statue's belly to pull it forward. He also used logs, cutting them into round shapes like wheels and laying them on the ground to roll the statue over them, pulling it along on top of all the logs. After that, he made a path, just like a single road. You might say that this method is hard to explain, but what he did was take all those logs and lay them out on a concrete surface, making a kind of road, and then place the statue on top to pull it along that path. He claimed that with this wooden road, he was able to move the statue a distance of up to 75 meters in just 12 minutes. And that was just one of his theories. Other scientists still weren't convinced, and archaeologists continued to have their doubts as well. His theory was that it wasn't like that at all, especially since there are still wooden logs buried in the ground, some of which are near the seashore, and others are lined up along the coast. His groundbreaking theory wasn't widely recognized until the year 2011. There were 2 other diligent experimenters, specifically named Terry Han and Mr. Clear, who meticulously conducted a significant experiment by carefully making a robust model out of solid cement that was precisely 4 meters tall. They thoroughly experimented with this particular one log by securely tying a strong rope to it, exactly just like he had originally wanted to clearly demonstrate. On this model, they tied one rope at the back and two at the front to move it, and it really took a lot of human strength to move the model. They wanted to find out if people in the past had experimented in the same way as they did, just like the archaeologists from previous generations. They tied short ropes to both sides of the head and pulled from the front, but both the archaeologists and these modern experimenters tied two ropes at the front and one at the back, and also used human strength. They moved the model in the same way, but their experiment still isn't conclusive, and it's not certain whether people in the past actually did it this way or not, even up to today. There still isn't any answer that can explain this one question. It's easy to ask, but hard to answer. How did people in the past manage to bring these statues and arrange them together on Easter Island like this? It's something that no one has been able to explain it up to this day. But speaking of Easter Island, nowadays we can actually visit it, and the only way to get there is by flying from Chile. The flight takes about 5 to 6 hours. If you ever get the chance to visit the island, go see for yourself whether all those stone statues really represent the people, their ancestors, or perhaps their spirits. The legends say that the ancestors walked these statues to the shore by themselves, or that the people moved them. But when it comes to experiments by archaeologists and other scientists, there's still no clear answer. There is still no definitive result that can be officially accepted, and there has yet to be a clear explanation as to whether these statues moved by themselves or what methods the ancient people used to transport these massive stone figures and arrange them together on this island. There is no explanation that can fully clarify this. It's an easy question to ask, but it's extremely difficult to answer. Since 1772 up to the present, it's been a very long time indeed. From one generation to the next, and then to another, no one has been able to answer this question related to Easter Island. It was added to the list of World Heritage Sites in 1995. You can visit this island by first traveling to Chile and then to Italy. And from there, you have to take another flight for about 5 to 6 hours to finally reach this Chilean island. And the journey to this Chilean island has only one route, which is by air. The official route to get there is by air, because traveling by sea can be quite dangerous, although there is also a sea route. For those of you watching and listening to this video, do you believe that this is a legend? That this statue walked here on its own, as the spirit of the ancestors entered the statue, and it walked to stand guard and protect the island's shores? Or do you believe in the scientific explanation, that people from previous generations, who were very strong, were responsible for this? Such great strength that they could lift entire stones. This is another thing for those of you watching this video to consider. According to science, they used the methods I mentioned earlier, with 3 or 4 techniques, such as arranging logs together to pull the stones, and so on. They might have had other methods as well, but it can still be explained. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next video from the studio.